So, yeah, just to welcome you all to our third week of this parenting course. We've had 2 wonderful weeks already. The first looking at emotional resilience, and last week about the early years. As I just mentioned, this is not a parenting course to tell you how to do it. It's a course to explore together this wonderful world of parenting. And this week, I'm really delighted to be able to welcome Liz and her husband James. We've got two for the price of one. It's really wonderful to explore this theme of the joy of the teenage years. And no one better than Liz, who's got this wonderful smile and does seem to enjoy it, which is fantastic.
No.
She's come twice to the Mothers at Home Matter, and she's really inspired us. So we're really thrilled to have you back, and thrilled to have James. Liz is a wife and mother of 5 young people. You've got a girl there as well, haven't you?
Yeah.
You've done one better than me.
No.
I've got all boys. But Liz has got her children range from they're 25, 22, 18, 15 and 10. So you've already parented a few through those teenage years. She weaves motherhood and home educating. So she's a very brave lady. You've home educated your children. And so you weave that with your daily life alongside mentoring young women and helping young women to find the joy and meaning in life. James is also there, which is great for us tonight, sharing a few insights into parenting the teen world. So without more ado, I'm going to pass you over to Liz. So thank you, Liz, for joining us.
Oh, thank you, Anne. Thank you so much for having us again. I love Mothers at Home Matter, and I believe in everything that you guys stand for. I believe in motherhood alongside fatherhood, and I believe that these 2 roles are the most important role for not just the growing child and the family, but also for society. And for us, we believe that we must continue to uphold these roles and encourage and support one another as we all journey through them, because it's not easy. So it's a true honor to be taking part in this practical parenting course, speaking on my favorite subject, which a lot of people don't call as a favorite, they don't say teenagers are my favorite subject, but I do. They're my favorite subject. I love them. And you might say teenagers and joy in the same sentence. We often don't hear that. And I know, and I think it's about time that we started hearing that and changing the narrative. Because for us, we've loved and enjoyed parenting our boys and our little girl who's coming up. We're looking forward to taking her through as well. It's been years of community, teamwork, thoughtfulness, respect, trust, and support. Last year, I told my son I was going to speak at Mothers at Home, their conference in, I think it was in November, I think. And I said to him, I feel like I'm going to champion, teenagers and speak up for them. And I said, why not? Someone has to. I think it's time that we did. I also have my wonderful husband here, James, Mr. James Yeboah. He'll be sharing his little bits about our journey from a father's perspective.
Well, hey, everyone. I'm glad to be here. The wife told me that I could have an opportunity to share some fatherly insights on the joys of raising teenagers. And I thought to myself, you know what? Sometimes fathers' voices are a bit, dampened down. So why not? So I'm glad to be here to share some insights in this vast area of raising teenagers.
So we're going to dig in. But first of all, we wanted just to introduce our clan.
Yes, well, there's me, the biggest child of all, on the far left-hand side, in white, looking glorious anyway. So, but yes, let me introduce my family too. So on the immediate right of myself is Nehemiah, who is 25. Then you have Jacob, who's 23 years of age. You have Levi, who is 18, Boaz, who is 15, and my beautiful princess, who is 10 years old. She is Eliana. And if you look closely, I'm still the tallest. So the boys have got a bit of catching up to do.
Okay. So firstly, we would like to say that this is us offering the opportunity for you to have a peek and an insight into how we've done things. and our experience of parenting these years, we understand that our way may not be your way, and that's fine. But we only just expect that you take and pick the meat from the bones that could possibly inspire or allow us to all further explore this journey together. So for anything you hear from us today, just make it your own. Take what you will be helpful and what won't be helpful, just leave it on the table. And I'm hoping that something can assist you on your own precious journey. But we want to add something.
Yeah,
this
look,
is important.
Yeah, guys, there are no perfect children out there. All we've got to do is look at ourselves. We weren't perfect. I know I wasn't perfect. I can remember my teenage years, and I think I was actually a horror.
He was a naughty boy.
Very naughty. Look, that's another time. So yeah, let's move quickly past that. But look, there's no perfect children. So look, all we want to do is offer another experience, another perspective into this, I suppose, usual narrative that we hear about teenagers growing up. So we want to add a bit of spice to that. They can be fun.
They can. And this picture right here on your screen sums up how we feel about the teen years. It's been exciting. It's been interesting to come alongside the children as they come into their own and as they fill their own shoes, and you get to know each child individually, from that little baby you brought home from the hospital or you birthed in your living room, because all mothers are different, or in the car. I had a friend that had one in the car, yes. For me, mine were in the hospital, and to find them as young men and to get to know them is just such a gift. And so they energize me. And I know that sounds crazy, but yes, my teens energize me. They give me life. What we want to do today is share a snippet of this process. How do you get to the point where you can enjoy your teenagers? How do you get to the point where you can say, I actually loved those years? What a memorable time. And I wish I could have those years back. How do you get to that point? Well, we want to share our process. We broke down the process into 3 parts: playing the long game, mentoring and coaching years, and believing, encouraging, and enjoying the years. But before we dig into the first part of the process, I want you to imagine a stage, like a theatre stage, with the main curtains open, but there's a backdrop behind you. And it sets the scene for the actors to come on stage. So this is the scenery behind all that we have ever done. This is the backdrop. This is the main pillar. We want to share. This is important. This is the backdrop of everything we have done. This is part of the aim we seek as parents to fulfill. We want every child to leave our home knowing these next few things. We want them to pack it in their heart and in their soul, and we want to intentionally seek to fulfill this. A child must know you will die for them. A child must know you will do anything for them, including sacrifice, whatever it might need. I will do anything for you. A child must know nothing is more important than them. Nothing. A child must know you have their back no matter what. A child must know you believe in them, that you see them. A child must know everything you do is because of them. They must know you've been there, you're not perfect, and you understand. A child must know they are worth more than the most precious things in this world because they are.
Yes.
These things cannot be guesswork for the child. It must be spoken, shown, and demonstrated to the child. These things you've just heard speak directly to their value, their relevance, and their worth. So it's imperative they know this. So moving on to the first part of our process, which is playing the long game. This is where we as parents set our minds or change the course of our minds and whatever narratives we've been sold in order for us to gain a different outcome. So we need to set our minds, program our minds, set the course. If we were, charting a course on the waters, get out our compass and put it to north and begin to go. We call it playing the long game. It can be a very slow game because you're not going to get it immediately. It's over years. It's an intentional game. And in that game, the first part is having a vision. Start with the end in mind. What would you like the teen years to look like? If you had teens, and some of us do, and some of us are about to, how would you want them to be? If you don't have teens yet, how would you, if you were to meet them, what would they be like? Set a vision, then works towards that vision. And this is what we did. I brought my son home, our eldest son, and I said to myself, one day he's going to be a man and I'm going to be older. This year I turned 46. So I can't even believe this. I was a parent at 20 and time has just flown by. And now he's almost 26.
Yeah.
And he's the man that I saw in my mind. And I said, one day he'll be a teenager and I'll be weaker and I cannot be dealing with everything that society is telling me he's about to throw at me. So I wanted an easy ride. I wanted to be chilling. I wanted to be relaxing. And I had this vision of being on the beach and just breezing through is what I wanted to do. And so that was my vision. And I was like, Liz, pick your heart and just get to work. And so I got on to do the good work, so that I could reap the rewards, Lord willing. We don't just let the teenage years happen to us. Mm-hmm. Parents have more influence in the culture of our families than we realize, than what they are letting us know. And we need to capitalize on that. It's important we know our influence and we use it. The teen years for us start way before 13. So if your mind is set on when the children are 13 is when I'll start this journey with them, it's going to be difficult. I think for us, we started from 8. We were always around 8.
Yeah.
But after our first child, we always had it in light, even from the beginning, from Jacob going, from our second child. But definitely by 8, between 8 and 10, we begin to start, depending on our children, because as parents, we know when the time is right to now put the practicalities in place, which we're going to go into and share later.
Yeah.
It starts with truth. Let the children know what's going on. Let them know the low expectations that society has placed on them. Talk to them about what's about to happen. This is between the ages of 8 and 10. Let them know that society is saying that you're going to be very rude. You're going to stamp up and down the stairs. You're going to slam doors. You just want to be rebellious. You know, just the stereotypes. And for us, when we began to talk to our oldest 2 about these, they would come up with some funny things. And one of them was, why would we want to do that? And what's happening? What's happening in that situation where we would want to be rude to you? Because they love you and they're between before 8, they're just, you are their heroes, you know. They're just thinking, why would that happen? You know, and you explain to them that these are the low expectations, but we believe in them. And we believe that that's not what's going to happen, but rather hormones are going to play a vital role. That won't turn you into a monster, but rather will help in your development. So if you're a boy, you get all the muscles and you know, your beard and your Adam's apple and all these changes. If you're a woman, your shape will come through, and you know, you have your monthly visitations, and it changes you from a boy to a man and a girl into a woman. And so we place a lot of purpose on hormones, and we let them understand that hormones are not negative, they're actually positive, but that we are right there with them. Whatever they're going to go through, they get to discuss it with us. We're going to come along with them, however they feel, they can share it with us. Whatever they need to talk about, we've been through it, so they can go along with us. So yes, isn't it, baby?
Yeah, just walking alongside. We wanted them to know that we're going to walk alongside you, and we're going to partner with you. You're not going to be doing this alone. You can come to us. So yes.
For us, it's, you would say that parenting the teen years started with a simple task when they were toddlers, a simple task of them making their bed. I know it sounds but my whole parenting hinged on this one thing they started doing between the ages of 2 and 3. I would encourage them to make their little toddler bed. And it was a form of self-discipline. I wanted them to take a small task and just be able to accomplish it and be praised for it, because right there is parenting, is that system of me as their mother giving them something good, and for them to say, okay, let me try and have a go. It's so simple, but it's set for me, it set the course for the rest of my parenting with that child. And then that child also feels like they can do all that they need to do. That's for their good. So preparing them to be prepared is a very big thing for me. I didn't know all that making your bed entailed until when the kids got older. I came across a book called Make Your Bed by William H. McRaven. And the boys, our older boys, actually love this book, and they actually said I should recommend this book. So Make Your Bed, a book by William H. McRaven. And moving on from making your bed, and the first point of parenting for me would be environment, setting a tone in the home for the growing child. Like a plant needs light, it needs water. We have to give the right tone, the right ambience, the right atmosphere, the feel. And so that's a big deal. We could talk about each of these points for hours. So I'm just trying to give you as much as I can from my experience, and hopefully it can help in some way. Teach them to protect themselves from predators. That's a big thing for me. Books like Yell and Tell, which I brought this last year. Yell and Tell by Debbie Pearl. Yell and Tell, because, and I'm talking about sexual predators here, because they don't know age. Sexual predators don't know, oh, this child is too young or too old. They don't care about that. So when it comes to this topic, I think we also need to be quite bold and protect the children, not say, oh, maybe they're too young, or maybe this is too much for them. So books like this helps to open a conversation in a very sensitive way. This one's The Right Touch by Sandy Cleven. So let's ready our girls also for the monthly visitation of Aunt Flo, and you can use www.rubylove.com. They have what they got the first period kit. It's a beautiful box. It's called a Ruby Love box, that you could think of beautiful ways of presenting it to your preteen who is about to start her monthly visitations of Aunt Flo, which is her period, and just prepare her for that. There are an abundance of resources that can aid us to make that event fun for our young to come teen. So those are some examples of preparing them to be prepared. Another side is life skills. When we're talking about preparing them to be prepared and playing the long game, life skills that they must take away from our home with them. Basic cooking skills. All the boys know how to cook and how to bake. It's basic things. You start off with like pancakes. Like everyone can do pancakes. You can get toast, and what do you call it? French toast. It's so easy. Like just basic. You just have to let them boil an egg. It starts with just basic, simple, healthy, economical recipes. Then we built on top of that. Financial literacy, that's Dad's forte.
Very important. They need to understand and navigate this financial world. We go to school, but yet in schools, they don't necessarily focus on how to manage money, taxes, how to navigate spending, budgeting. So that's very important.
Yeah, having good manners and social skills and etiquette. Their please and thank yous was like a must.
Yeah, people by people. So if you're nice and pleasant, then of course people will engage with you more, So yeah, brilliant.
And a good work ethic and taking on responsibilities. Again, Dad's forte. You believe in a good work ethic, don't you? You're not.
You have to.
Yeah, Dad has about 150 employees, so I think currently one of his sons is working for him part-time as well. So he really drives this work ethic home, and not just at work, but also from when they're young, giving them responsibilities in the home. Give them this vision that you had. Mine was being on the beach and chilling during the teen years. You need to give them that vision. I used to tell some of my boys when they were growing up that you need to help me to help you. This is a dear role to me, being your mother. I treasure it. So you need to help me to help you. You need to allow me to mother you. You need to let me in, So give them the vision. Give them the ideas, the language, what it looks like, because no one else is going to give it to them. And if you don't tell them these things, they're going to pick it up from elsewhere, from movies, conversations with peers, with other adults. They'll hear it from other adults, books, TV shows. You must give them another picture. Let them know what to expect, but let them know that there's another alternative. Last point. You must want to be with your children for them to want to be with you. This is a huge point, because I have people ask me, like our young adults, and some of us listening know what I'm talking about, because they have young adults and they enjoy spending time with their young adults, and the young adults love spending time with their parents. And it's such an odd concept in our day-to-day age right now in our society. And we have the pleasure of enjoying our children I'm talking about our old young men, like they're 23 and 26, 23 almost and 26 almost, and they still want to go on holiday with us.
Still enjoy our company.
They come movie night with us. They still enjoy our company. So how does that work? How did you get them? Do you tell them they must be at home with you? No, we don't tell them they must be at home or do anything we do. They actually they actually get upset if they find out we've done things without inviting them, which is interesting. But how that happened was we let them know we want to be with them. And also, in addition, life is circular. They're born, we look after them. We get old, they look after us. Life is circular. It goes round. Never forget that. Life isn't linear, it's circular. We get old, they look after us. They're born, we look after them. And we must take pleasure in looking after them when they're born, when they're toddlers, when they're in the middles, and when we must take joy, because when we're old and we want them to look after us, we can't now demand that they better do it with great pleasure. Why did you lift my leg so sharply? You know, now we're demanding all of this beautiful, wonderful paradise of care. But when they were young, we wanted to be elsewhere. And that's the thing. We cannot let them know. We just cannot. That was just my thing. I will not let them know I want to be elsewhere. I want them to know I don't want to be elsewhere. I want to be with you. I want to be with you. And they pick up on that and they know that, wow, mom wants me. Mom wants me around. She enjoys my company. She doesn't want to be anywhere else but with me. Perfect. You must want to be with your children for them to want to be with you. Now, Dad's going to share his bit about the long game.
Yeah, okay. So guys, as a father, the long game was about vision and mission. Vision is the end goal, what it looks and feels like. And mission is about everything that I need to do to actually get to the vision. The vision for us needed to be clear. Our vision for our children was focused on who they are and not what they do, because we believe the former is great. The former greatly enhances the latter. Our vision was to give the world young adults that were self-assured, in high self-esteem, full of confidence, knowing who they are and what they want, all of which would be underpinned by life-guiding morals and principles. The mission for us was to choose a way of being towards our children that would produce the vision. So that way of being fit into 3 areas that I termed as the 3 Ds. The first D is direction, which is about showing, guiding, and being an example. The second D is discipline, which is about helping them choose what they know is right versus what they feel is right. So things like self-discipline, making them accountable, giving them responsibilities was very, very important for us. The third and final D is delight. Yes, take delight in your children, which is basically how we express our love towards them, such as the time we spend with them, being intentional and having fun, and also being open and vulnerable, which can sometimes be tricky, obviously, because it can be challenging to open yourself up as a parent to your kids, but doing that, you get buy-in. So yes, being vulnerable is a big one there. Yeah.
And talking about delight, something new that I did this week, so I guess I can share that, because it's something you never stop adding to parenting.
No.
I'm not the same parent I was when I was 20. I'm now a 46-year-old and I'm not that same woman. And I seek to add things to my parenting. That's why no one can truly be an expert. I think the best expert is the mothers and fathers of their own children. But even that, we're in constant growth and we're evolving. But I added this week, every single child now has a secret handshake with mum. So, and everyone's is unique. Even Dad got a secret handshake.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So, and I love that. I love that I can just bump along, you know, I'm in the corridor, someone's coming through and I can just stop them and we do a secret handshake, you know, is another form of touch, you know, and connection, right? So that's also something. And you can do that with your teens, pre-teens, even the old husband here, you can do it with him as well. Moving on to mentoring and coaching years. These years are from 12 years to forever, if needed. These are the years of establishing good communication and delivering vital information to our teens. A time for character building and development, great novels that support character building, even great movies. Some of the old movies are amazing, by the way. So upholding good morals, virtues, good character, and I love Charlotte Mason. We homeschool and lean a lot into the Charlotte Mason method, and she has great book lists on books that she calls living books that uphold such morals and virtues. You always, as a parent, you always need a third voice, a second voice, a third voice, a fourth, a fifth voice that reinforce what you're doing at home. And if it needs to be the grandparents, then grab them. But like, even if my husband has got his reinforcement or I have my reinforcement, we still need grandma, you know, we still need friends, we still need older friends of ours to add, we still need books, and you need people to reinforce the good character building and life experiences, life advice, that's what I'm trying to say, life advice. You need other people to speak into their lives, use with the same voice that you're using for them as you're training and raising them up. Create a culture of open communication within the family. And ours is both figurative and practical. Like, it actually, in our home, we don't close doors. So that's how we've raised our children. All doors are closed. I started that when they were young, isn't it? Yeah. Way like when they were from whenever they were in their cots. Yeah. We never shut the door.
So when they're going to bed, they turn the lights off, but the bedroom door is
always open. Yeah. And that is so strange. It made everyone flow into everyone's bedrooms. And we've never had a teenager behind closed doors. We actually
themselves away.
Where they shut themselves away. We actually don't have that kind of. So when we say we have open communication, it's in every sense of the word. And so, yes, I think that's important. Creating your own culture. And being aware that there's a culture you're creating by default or by intentionality, it's happening. Family meetings, and for us, family meetings and togetherness is what helped reinforce our family culture. So whatever it is that we needed to implement to create our culture, we would have a meeting and everyone would be on the same page and everyone could chime in and add their bits and take bits away and that kind of thing. Most importantly, using your life experiences, like James had said earlier, your mistakes, your learned lessons and past to mentor through these years is important. You can't just tell them what to do. You have to let them know they're human and you are human. You have to show them what it means to stumble and fall and what you do in that instance. And we use our own lives for that, the lives we've lived ahead of them. And we tell them, we've actually told them that that's the advantage. We've lived it and we know what this feels like or what that feels like and how it feels like to go through this. So utilize our experience. We've told them that, utilize our experiences, lean into that, because that's your advantage of having parents that are older than you. Also, look out for teaching moments. This is the mentoring and coaching years. Look out for teaching moments in the car, when you're watching something, when they're telling you about a friend's something experience with a friend, just little things, big things, medium things. Look out for teaching moments, because it's not always going to be you and them sitting down and having this, one heart to heart and Those times happen and you have to factor them in. But parenting flows. It's constantly moving.
So you have to be on the lookout.
So you have to be on the lookout. Where is it? We have been teens before. This is our highest advantage, as I said. So let us use that for the children. So when they're in the teen years, we have tried to talk a lot about our teen life. They found it quite funny, actually, because they think that we're kind of more mature and older now. And when we talk about ourselves as kids and, making silly choices, and they're like, you guys, they're like, no, it sounds like someone else. They've had a lot of fun with that. Resources to help in this stage of mentoring. is vital. So I'm going to share a few. Social media and its connection with children's mental health, that's like documented. Pornography and its effects on our children today. All the studies are currently still coming out. We're all hearing about it, and there's books about this. So we have to empower them to navigate this manipulative and addictive technology. There is no way. We have these older adults in our house, and we put in place that they just should respect that there's policy. We call it a phone policy. So they know that if we're at dinner, no phones. Like if we're at home and having dinner at the dinner table, there's no phones. If we're talking to you, we want to give you eye contact and you want to give us eye contact. We've tried to protect that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Even our son, who's got a job as a lifeguard, he's 18, but still he's using dad's old phone. He brings it back. He picks it up from dad's desk in the study, goes to work. On his way back, he puts it back on the study desk. So they're more important to us than the phone, and we have to let them know this, and we have to also help them understand through resources like The Tech-Wise Family by Andy Crouch, which talks about all the technology and its effects. Glow Kids by Nicholas Kardaras. It's also another good one that talks about, you know, the phone, social media, and all the rest of it. When we talk about pornography, Defend Young Minds and Protect Young Eyes, great organization with an abundance of information. So you can find so much through these companies. We also have Canopy on all of our
on all their devices. So whether it's their phones or their laptops, Canopy controls certain things on their devices. So you can set certain filters so that obviously, you know, things that we don't want them viewing, like porn or nude or whatever, can be filtered out. So there are great controls with Canopy, and there's going to be others in the marketplace. Just search them out, but don't be afraid to use them.
Yes. And then you said that we should also control the Wi-Fi router settings.
Yeah, every Wi-Fi router has settings, and even if you just control that, that is something that you can actually do. So what I do is I set the times that the Wi-Fi comes on and the time that the Wi-Fi goes off for every device in the house. So
okay,
yeah.
Moving on to the next process, it would be. Oh, are you adding?
Yes.
Oh yeah, hold on. Yeah, James is adding.
You forgot about me, guys. That's really, really bad of you. So yeah, I'm still here, guys. So anyway, guys, yes. So mentoring and coaching is from our father's perspective. So as a father, mentoring and coaching was very, very interesting for me. I say this because when your children become teenagers, they no longer just do as you say, like my little one does. They begin to have their own minds, and they begin to do and think for themselves and sort of do what they want to do now, because they've got this newfound sense of, I'm alive, I can do what I want. So I had to understand what mentoring and coaching was, especially towards my teenagers, which I found is basically just giving them direction, which I covered a little bit with the 3Ds. And I also had to work out, and this is very important, I actually had to work out how to get my children not just to hear me, which is me telling them things, but how to get my children to listen and be influenced to take on my direction, which is a whole new ballgame. And I found that living as an example, being open, being patient, taking my own medicine, and not being hypocritical, owning up to my own mistakes, and above all, having moments of openness and vulnerability with them made them more likely to take me on board. And I found that I could impact them more. When I became more real and open, that really worked for me. So
yeah. Okay, so those were the coaching years, and I have to say James was very patient. He was more patient in the coaching years than me. I think your patience is stellar. And I would have my sessions with the kids, but James's sessions could go on for like 2 hours, and I have to applaud you with that.
Thank you.
He would have one child and be very thorough. So I got to a place where the boys would be like, "It's okay, Dad. We get it. We know. We understand. It's okay."
It's like, Dad, no, you're going to be in 1 hour, Dad. We get it, Dad. Yes.
Yeah. So now it's moving on to the last part of the process: believing, Jamesy, believing, encouraging, and enjoying. Right. Believe in your children, believe in the process, trust it, encourage your children and be encouraged, right? This is what I was doing. This is what we've been saying and being with ourselves. Enjoy your children, enjoy the journey. 1/3 to 1/4 of their lives are spent with us. And those formative years are crucial. It forms their identity. The rest of their lives, and it forms the foundation. The rest of their lives are built on top of this, right? So it's important. Like what we do is incredibly important. So encourage them to be lifelong learners and educators. The greatest men and women always are. The bonds we share in our families makes us feel a sense of belonging. So fortifying those bonds through like sharing experiences and different things is so important. It makes us feel a sense of belonging. Forming and forging those bonds is where the work lies. It's good work. There's different types of work. There's hard work, there's dirty work, there's all kinds of, this one, parenting is good work. It's hard and it can be a challenge and all sorts, but it's good. And that's why we engage in it. So whenever you feel the work and you feel the load, just say to yourself, but it's good. This is good work. I'm involved in something that's wholesome, right? It's just incredible. It's absolutely a miracle even. So have fun. The family is a micro community. Remember that. I know society's forgotten about that, but we are the first community that our children are a part of. We can't expect our children to go out there into the big old world, the bigger, wider community, and be great citizens when at home we didn't encourage and we weren't encouraged to prepare them, because it's a smaller version of the outside world. So it works best in togetherness. So work together, play together, laugh together, experience together, and love together. Like when I have a young mum ring me because she's having a hard time, I just tell her, look, simple things, because life is about simple pleasures. It's just simple things. Just make toast. Just put some toast in the toaster. You know, cut them into soldiers, put jam on it, or get an egg. Just sit with your baby, read a poem. Just whittle it down, slow down, just do one simple thing. You feel great, they feel great. Even just hearing your baby laugh or your toddler laugh, or just keep it simple. Life is about that. Take a walk with your toddlers. Take a walk with your teens.
They wear one standard, don't they? They wear one.
Yeah, take a walk with them. And also a little insight here. Some of the things they say they don't want to do, or they might not feel all up for it, if you encourage it further, they actually love it and enjoy it. So don't ever be put off by that. When they're like, oh, mom, do we really have to go and do this again? Yes, because as soon as we go and do it, they're like, oh, I remember this. This is actually quite amazing. And you're like, oh, my goodness. So, yeah. Book recommendations. I always love book recommendations. So that's why you're constantly hearing me put out books. But and I asked the children, I said, at the end of my talk, I want to give good book recommendations. And these are from our boys. And so they said, Mum, I wanted books that had an impact on them. And so these are the ones they picked. Do Hard Things by Alex and Brett Harris. A Survival Guide for Life, Bear Grylls. They loved Bear Grylls in it growing up. All the boys loved Bear Grylls. The 7 Habits of Highly Effective Teenagers, one of my husband's favorite authors, or family. You know, Sean and the Colbys, he loves them. Boy Mum, Monica Swanson, amazing, especially if you've got boy children. And I've got a few. Carry On, Mr. Bowditch by Jean Lee Latham, which is the story of all about this. It's like a biography stroke novel. This is from my son Levi, and he said every teenager mum needs to master self-education, and Mr. Bowditch is a great example of this. So this is what he said about that book. And so to just hear that these things had an impact on them, or they said that it's still lingering with them. Some of them said that these books are still with them. I wanted to really share that. So
I want to also add a book recommendation from myself, which is The 5 Love Languages of Teenagers, or for Teenagers, by Gary Chapman. that book is brilliant. So that's a recommendation for myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
And James is going to just add a bit about believing, encouraging, and enjoying.
So when I look at, from my perspective, believing, encouraging, and enjoying, I'm going to take the believing and I'm going to wave it up in the air. As a father, I believe that one of the most significant things you can do for your children is to believe in them. Gift them belief. Even if they're little terrors in your sight, because they're not, but gifting them belief does wonderful things. Now, when I say believe in them, I mean believe that they are inherently good and that they have the ability to do good, live right, and to overcome personal challenges. And to express your belief in them, tell them these three things. These three things are really powerful. Tell them that you love them. Tell them that you are proud of them. And tell them that they are good. Once your children hear these statements from you, this makes the child feel seen, it makes them feel heard, valued, and above all, they'll believe in themselves, which will be encouragement for them, and which adds identity to them, and they'll be freed up to enjoy life more.
Yeah. So you could say parenting children in general, but definitely the teen years is forging their identity. And we have, yes, absolutely, we're forging their identity. And we know this. Why? Because when adults become adults and they have issues and they see a therapist, a psychologist, any one of those helpers, what happens is we tend to find the story always coming back to mum and dad. So what's the story? How was your childhood like? So we have this great influence and this great power. And as dad always tells the boys, with great power comes, what do you say?
Great responsibility.
Great responsibility, because they're Marvel fans in my house, all of them, all the men. And we as parents have this great power with great responsibility. And as James said, if we can offer them these statements, it's nothing to us to speak them. It isn't costing us anything. But for them, it's their world. For them, it's their identity. We love you. We're proud of you. You are good, right? It's simple. It sounds so simple, but yet we have to.
Yeah, it can be quite challenging for adults to do that.
Yeah. To break and slow down and offer that to them and recognize when to use it and when to bring it in. So yes. So in conclusion, joy can be found in the teen years. Can we hear the choir say, joy can be found in the teen years? It needs intentionality, a vision, and a commitment to a plan. It takes good work, but it's worth it because our children are worth it. Oh, hold on. Yes. Oh, let me leave it on this for a little bit. Oh, look. What do you think, Anne? I'll leave this on just for a few seconds.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you so much. Wow. Yeah, wow, that's well. Yeah, just amazing. So much. I've written pages. But it's just wonderful to hear, parents talking about the joy, because you just hear so much, so the opposite. So it's so lovely to kind of dip in that warmth and the kind of the joy and the and it gives hope as well, and a different narrative. And I thank you very much for that. That's really great. Yeah. Well, anyway, thank you so much, Liz and James. That was just amazing. It's been really inspiring. We've gone on half an hour longer. Longer. It's fantastic. So thank you so much.
It's a pleasure.